Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Trey and Duke here, back with another video, and today we're going to be discussing a very important topic that can potentially save your dog's life. All right, so before we get into the video, guys, please hit the like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, and without further ado, guys, let's get into it. All right, guys, so over the last week, I've gotten two sad stories that were brought to my attention, both involving dogs and heat stroke, and it is very unfortunate that both of those dogs lost their lives, one being a Cane Corso, the other one was a Frenchie, and it sucks, right? We all love our dogs. They're like family members, but sometimes, you know, you may not be educated, or whoever's handling your dog may not be educated, and they may put them in a situation where it could potentially cost them their lives. And in these two cases, that's what happened. In the instance with the Cane Corso, I believe they had their Corso outside. They left him out there, and unfortunately, he succumbed to the heat, and that's very sad and unfortunate. The case with the Frenchie, you know, when you have somebody else who's not necessarily the primary handler of the dog, and they have the dog out in the heat, and you know, they put him in a unfortunate situation where they wasn't paying attention to the dog, and it's hot outside, guys, and a lot of times they cannot sustain that environment for a long time. So today I want to make sure we get into some tips to help you guys out, to help prevent that, so we can, you know, save your pup's life, so your dog can live a long, prosperous life. So let's go ahead and get into some things. All right, guys, first thing I'm going to discuss with you all today is heat stroke. All right, I'll even pop a graphic up on the screen so you guys can pause if you want. You can get some more information regarding heat stroke. Okay. All right, when you're outside and you have your pup outside or your dog outside and it's extremely hot, you have to understand that they can't cool themselves down as we do through things such as sweating, right? So dogs often, you know, rely on panting to cool themselves down. And when it's extremely hot, that becomes extremely hard. Okay, so you got to understand that when your dog or your pup can't cool themselves down through means of panting, that can lead to heat stroke. And heat stroke can lead to your dog losing their life. All right, and we don't want that. I definitely don't want that for Duke, and I don't want that for you and your pups out there. Okay. All right, so that's the first thing I just want to highlight and bring to your attention. All right, so let's get into some tips to prevent that. All right, guys, the first tip I'm going to discuss with you guys today is hydration. All right, your dog must stay hydrated, especially if you live in a warm climate area like we do here in Florida. Okay, I have a Cane Corso. He's a large breed dog. He's more susceptible to hot weather injuries, so I must make sure he's hydrated. All right, and tips that I can give you guys to make sure that is happening is to always have fresh water available for your dog at all times. Okay, even if you're out and about on a walk, you know, take a bag, take a to-go bowl or something, a to-go hydration system, something that you can have readily available in the event that they need some water. All right, always encourage them to drink water. Even if you can have multiple bowls around the house, that'll help. But you need to ensure that your pup, your dog is drinking water. Okay, that is a must. Okay, make sure that your dog always has fresh water available, and we keep them hydrated. You guys stay hydrated because it's hot out there, and make sure that your dogs are staying hydrated. All right, so let's get into the next point. All right, guys, point number 2 that we're going to discuss is to avoid midday walks. All right, especially if you live in a hot weather environment like we do here in Florida. You guys know that it gets extremely hot by midday. All right, you want to avoid exposing your dog or your pup to that heat at all costs. All right, and things that you can do to prevent that is to, you know, get up earlier, get out early before the sun comes up, and get your dog out to get some exercise. All right, that's probably one of the best things that you can do, or maybe wait until the evening and then get out and have, you know, do your walks then. But you don't want to have your dog out there in that extreme heat, because a lot of times, you know, even if you're planning on doing a short walk, right, a short walk can become a long walk, especially when it's excessively hot outside. All right, you don't want your dog to have to go through that, right? Because you may walk out and they may be doing fine and they get to the turnaround point and they can't make it back. And you may not have the resources or somebody available to come and help you, get your dog back to a cool environment quickly, and things can escalate from there and not be good. All right, so keep that in mind at all costs. Avoid those midday walks. All right, let's get into the next point. All right, so the third tip I'm going to discuss with you guys is to make sure that you are providing shade. All right, sometimes your dog has to be outside, or you have to take your dog outside and it may be hot, right? I get it, okay? But if you are in that situation, make sure you are providing your dog shade, okay? Whatever activity you're doing or whatever they're doing, you do not want to be doing that in direct sunlight. You want to avoid your dog being in direct sunlight as much as you can at all costs, okay? They will not do well for very long in that environment, okay? Under direct sunlight. So what you need to be doing is making sure that you can get them into a shaded spot, whether it's natural tree shade or something you can create for them, to make sure they're just not getting beaten down on by the sun for long periods of time, okay? We talked about it before, hydrating, or making sure they stay hydrated. Make sure you avoid those midday walks. Now we're discussing if you have them outside for whatever reason, that they have access to shade. All right, they probably prefer it as well. If you ever take them out there and observe them, a lot of times they'll maybe sunbathe for a quick second, and then they'll get up and they'll find a shaded patch if they still want to be out there. So make sure you are paying attention to your dog and make sure they have access to shade, and avoid that direct sunlight for long periods of time, okay? So let's get into the next point. All right, guys, so for point number 4, never leave your dog in a hot car, all right? I'm not gonna stay on this point for that long, but I do wanna emphasize that if it's hot outside, it's extremely hot inside your car without any climate control on, all right? Never leave your puppy, your dog, I don't care what age, inside of a hot car. I don't care if you're running in really quick or whatever the case may be. That is a bad practice, and I have to advise against it, okay? If you want to keep your dog safe, keep them out of hot cars unattended, okay? Just don't do it. All right, let's get into the next point. All right, guys, the last point we're going to discuss is going to be centered around paw protection, okay? If it is hot for you outside, trust me, it is hot for them too, okay? If you walk outside barefooted on that concrete in some of these hot weather environments, it's gonna burn your feet, right? Okay, same thing for them. You wanna keep that in mind. So if you can avoid, that hot concrete, do that at all costs. If maybe you can get them out into the grass, that's gonna be a lot more comfortable for them. All right, so keep that in mind. You don't wanna get them to where they have, burns on their paws, or that type of injury, because it is extremely painful and uncomfortable for them, and you guys don't want something like that to happen. Okay, so keep that in mind with your dog, so you can protect them at all costs, right? As we all know, we love our dogs, right? They're like our they are family members. Some of them are like big babies, like Duke, and we want to keep them safe, and we want to make sure that we can do our part to help them live a long life, okay? So keep those paws protected, keep them off that hot concrete, and make sure that you are following the tips previously discussed up to this point. All right, so let's close out. All right, guys, thank you for making it to this point in the video. To recap, today we brought awareness to heat stroke in dogs. We gave you guys 5 helpful tips that will help you combat that and keep your dog safe in these hot weather conditions. All right, make sure that you guys are taking a common sense approach to your dog in the heat, and that will keep them safe and preserve their life, because we want our canine companions to live a long, fruitful life. All right, take care of your dog will take care of you. Follow the tips. Again, hit the like, push us forward, and hit the like button so we can get pushed forward in the algorithm. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. check out the video that I got popping up on the screen now. And until then, guys, see you in the next one. Peace.